Welcome. Good morning. Thank you everybody for being here. Y'all know me. My name's Bear with BearIndependent.com. It's actually snowing there. That's very cool. 103,300 of you all need your brains scanned by the angry Viking therapist. Welcome. Please like, subscribe, and share. Hunter Seeker, good morning, brother. Liking, subscribing, and sharing helps us do battle with the YouTube algorithmic robots. I'm going to be completely frank with you. I hate YouTube, but I love y'all, and that's why I'm here. Thank you for being here for me. We always try to be here for y'all. So thank you. You can help us by liking, subscribing, and sharing. Intel goes to intel@bearindependent.com. Not your Facebook nonsense, not any of that bull crap. Actual intel goes to intel@bearindependent.com, as well as your silver linings. Please and thank you. Your good news. Patreon.com. You can check us out there. You can get 2 months free if you sign up for the yearly deal. And of course, Grindstone has a huge raffle going on right now. So if you'd like to spend $5 to potentially win $3,000, $4,000 worth of tactical gear, you can do that at grindstoneministries.com. And that money is used to directly combat human trafficking and sex crimes. And we are not one of those frigging ministries that collects a bunch of money and then doesn't do shit with it. That's not us. Grindstone only funds first order effects. We only fund effects on target. We don't have anybody currently on staff that gets paid. We don't have committees. We have a board, but we barely use it. We just get shit done. Praise Yah and thank y'all. That's what we do. So if you'd like to actually support somebody who gets things done, grindstoneministries.com. 0 yachts have been bought with this money that has been raised in the name of helping children and victims of human sex trafficking. Unlike 80 to 90% of the ministries out there right now, human trafficking has become like the war on drugs, okay? There's lots of people who go, oh yes, we're very active in ending human trafficking. No, you're a fundraiser. That's what you are. You're very active. Like, nice rings, love the Lexus, good job. Good morning, Tommy. That's not us. And the Most High will never let us be that, because that's not how we are fearfully and wonderfully made. So bless y'all. Thank you. Bear's not governor. I might be chief of Bearistan though. I don't know. There might be a 6th tribe coming in Oklahoma. Like, we've got the Osage, we've got the Muskogee Creek, we got the Cherokee, we got the Choctaw, we got the Bear Nation. Exactly. All right. American Insurgency. I've got 2 reports here in front of me that were put together by the lovely and talented dance monkeys that don't have anything to do with the American Insurgency. And so we're going to look at the information within these reports within the context of an American insurgency, because that's what is on my heart this morning. And so the first thing I want to look at is the lines of effort for an insurgency in general. So, meaning, what, if you are an insurgent, what do you need to do to enact your will, okay? First, destroy civil security. Next, undermine host nation security forces. Next, undermine governance. Next, destroy civil control. Next, interrupt essential services. Good morning, Homie Biscuits. You are tremendous, and I love you, and you're awesome, and I'm looking forward to seeing you. Destroy civil control, interrupt essential services, reduce support to economic and infrastructure development, and conduct misinformation and information engagement. These are the 7 lines of effort for an insurgent. If we go line by line here, civil security. How secure do you feel out there in the civil world right now? Y'all know me, not much. Undermine host nation security forces. Defund the police. Defund the police, right? Undermine governance. Hey, don't ever worry about Bear being out alone in the woods. My name is Bear. And unlike Bear Grylls, there's no helicopter coming to save me at the end of my show, okay? Undermine governance. Civil control. Good morning, overall living. I love you, brother. Bama Buckeye, good morning, brother. Interrupt essential services. We're not quite there with this, but we know that that's coming. 0% chance Bear drinks his own pee today. I saw that comment. That's funny. Economic and infrastructure destabilization. The Green New Deal? Anybody? Pamela, bless you. Thank you. And conduct misinformation and information engagement. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, CNN, MSNBC, ABC News, New York Times, so forth and so on. So we can see if I'm building a foundation here for an argument. These are the 7 lines of effort. It's coming. And I want to shout out to Pastor Joe Fox of Viking Preparedness, who has said recently, I don't know if we are in a civil war, if we're even going to have one, but I do believe that there is an active insurgency in the United States. Well, Pastor, I've been thinking about that since you said it, and the more I compare what I know about insurgency with what I'm experiencing in my real life, the more I tend to agree. Good job. Ding. So now let's get into, this is from the Joint Chiefs of Staff. This is Joint Publication 3-24, Counterinsurgency. On page 52, there's an excellent diagram called Insurgent Actions, Political and Military. Remember, political and military, hand in hand. Again, Joint Chiefs of Staff, Publication 3-24, page 52. Insurgent Actions, Political and Military. Creation of atmosphere of wider discontent through propaganda. This would be the actions that the insurgents would be taking. So you want to be thinking, does this sound like things that we are experiencing right now? And this is building to a point. Creation of atmosphere of wider discontent through propaganda and political and psychological efforts to discredit government, police, and military authorities. Oh, I ate all the knife hand grow. I once cut a cheesecake from 14 feet across the room without even touching it with this knife hand. Then I levitated it into my mouth. Just like that. Don't even. Agitation, creation of favorable public opinion or advocating national cause. Creation of distrust of established institutions. Increased agitation, and this is all building, okay? So these are each different steps. Step 3, increased agitation, unrest and disaffection, infiltration of administration, police, military and national organizations, boycotts, slowdowns, and strikes. 4. Infiltration of foreign organizers and advisors and foreign propaganda. China. Material, money, weapons, and equipment. 5. Recruitment and training of resistance cadres. Don't we know that the upper-ups in Antifa have been training in Syria? 6. Penetration into labor unions, student and national organization, and all parts of society. This is happening. This is happening, bro. Good morning, Dudley. 7. Spreading of subversive organizations into all sectors of a country. Subversive organizations into all sectors of the country. 8. Establishment of a national front organization and liberation movements. Appeal to foreign sympathizers. Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Establishment of a national front organization and liberation movements. Antifa. Appeal to foreign sympathizers. 8. Expansion of front organizations. Now they grow in power. 9. Intensification of propaganda. Psychological preparation of population for rebellion. We are right now in 9, 10, and 11 concurrently. So again, 9, intensification of propaganda, psychological preparation of population for rebellion. 10, increased underground activities to demonstrate strength of resistance organization and the weakness of government. That's coming. Good morning, Faux Daddy. 9, 10, 11. Intense sapping of morale. Government, administration, police, and military. Intense sapping of morale. This will continue, just like we're seeing first responders, public safety, law enforcement being targeted for simply doing their job. This will continue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. These aren't numbered. I'm having to number them as we go so that you can see the progression here. So 12 is intense sapping of morale within the government, administration, police, and military. 13, increased political violence and sabotage. 14, and I think we are going into 14 and then 15, and it may come to 16. 14, overt pressures against government, including strikes, riots, and disorder. We're about there in pockets of the country. Now, I think it remains to, or I should say, it remains to be seen how far along this path we go, and what comes of it. This is not a guarantee. Good morning, Tony John. Good morning. Thank you for the RC Cola, brother. Overt pressures against government, strikes, riots, and disorder. We're already seeing that. Next is guerrilla actions. Good morning, Andrew Barnes. Bless you, brother. Next is guerrilla actions. And then last, the culmination of insurgent actions is large-scale conventional actions. War in the streets. Corn-fed, good morning. We're not there yet. We are bordering on guerrilla actions. But all these other things, man, we got them. We've got them. So, in order to have an active insurgency in any scale, you need to have a failed state or a failing state. And then what happens is that failing state normalizes. And it normalizes into a recovering state through the actions of the insurgent force. Part of why I believe the big they want us divided is that a counterinsurgency is dependent upon a host nation. Well, if there's no host nation, where do you get logistical support from? Where do you get operational cover from? Let's think about it, right? So within a failed state, when you get to these large-scale military-style actions, you end up with military governance. And then after that, you end up with like some type of a coalition government between the military and civilians. And then that translates into host nation governance. But as this is happening, the insurgent forces are, because an insurgency is political and military, they're using the military force, and grant me this, whether it's the United States Army or jackbooted thugs, they're using military force or military-like force to accomplish their goals. And then once those goals are accomplished, and the state has now been failed, we've made it fail, we can create the new state or the recovering state out of that by transitioning from military power back into political power. Once you have solidified your political power as an insurgency, you now have access to all of the resources of the state. I might have had to use my jackbooted thugs to fight the army, but now that we've wormed our way in and taken control, I now have control of the army. See what I mean? So, within the guise of everything that we're talking about here this morning, think about this election cycle where we're at and the concept of an American insurgency. I think it's a very accurate assessment that we are in an American insurgency, that this is ongoing. We've got, again, undermine civil security, undermine support to the host nation security forces, undermine the governance, undermine civil control, interrupt essential services, and that's one that I would definitely be paying attention to. Interrupt essential services. What are essential services? That's a great question. Fuel, electricity, water, sanitation, trash services, food, medical. Okay? All of those things. They're called essential services. You gotta have them. They're essential. We need to trust Jesus. Yes, that was a very good comment, Cooper. I agree. We need to trust Yeshua, Jesus the Christ, absolutely. We also need to, Luke 22, verse 36, sell your cloak and buy a sword if you don't have one. Because there were times when Yeshua went into the woods to be alone by himself because it got a little too people-y for him out there, to which I can relate. And there are times when he went into the temple and literally grabbed MFers by the throat and threw them out and flipped over tables and braided up a nine-tailed cord of whips and beat the ever-living shit out of people because they had it coming. So, not only do we need to trust in Yeshua, we're going here. It's not simply about trust. Come on, thumbs. I don't got time to mess around this morning. James, chapter 2, verse 14. My brothers, what use is it for anyone to say he has belief but does not have works? This belief is unable to save him. And if a brother or sister is naked and in need of daily food, but one of you says to them, go in peace, be warm and be filled, but you did not give them the bodily needs, what use is it? So also belief, if it does not have works, is dead in itself. But someone might say, you have belief, and I have works. Show me your belief without your works, and I shall show you my belief by my works. I'm gonna fundraise money for human trafficking and then not do anything. We're gonna fundraise money for human trafficking and then do things. I will show you my belief by my works. You believe that Elohim is one. You do well. The demons also believe and shudder. Do you even have a physical reaction to your belief in Elohim? Because the demons know. The demons have a physical reaction to him. The simple sound of his voice causes them to tremble. And yet so many of us claim belief in God or Jesus, and we're just over here effing around doing whatever we want to do. We don't even tremble at the name. The demons tremble when they hear his name. And we're going to claim him, and we don't even tremble when we think about him, when we hear his name. Don't let your faith be more lowly than a demon. You believe that Elohim is one. You do well. The demons also believe and shudder. They tremble at his name. But do you wish to know, O foolish man, that the belief without the works is dead? Was not Abraham our father declared right by works when he offered Isaac his son on the slaughter place? Do you see that the belief was working with his works, and by the works the belief was perfected? And the scripture was filled, which said, Abraham believed Elohim, and it was reckoned to him for righteousness. His belief was action. And he called him, he who loves Elohim. You see then that a man is declared right by works, and not by belief alone. In the same way was not Rahab the whore also declared right by works when she received the messengers and sent them out another way? For as the body without the spirit is dead, so also the belief is dead without the works. So as the body without the spirit is dead, so also the belief is dead without the works. And the last thing I'm going to hit you with, unless I'm told to hit you with something else, is 1 Peter 2, verse 21. For this you were called, because Messiah also suffered for us, leaving us an example. Yes, that was James chapter 2, starting at verse 14 through the end. 1 Peter 2, verse 21. For this you were called, because Messiah also suffered for us, leaving us an example that you should follow in his steps, who committed no sin, nor was deceit found in his mouth, who being reviled did not revile in return, suffering did not threaten, but committed himself to him who judges righteously, who himself bore our sins in his body on the timber, so that we, having died to sins, lawlessness, 1 John 3, verse 4, might live unto righteousness, Luke 1, verse 6, blamelessly walking the commands of Yah. By whose stripes you were healed, for you were like sheep going astray, but have now returned to the shepherd and overseer of your souls. For this you were called, because Messiah also suffered for us, leaving us an example that you should follow in his steps. So yeah, you should trust in Jesus, absolutely. But if that trust leads to paralysis by analysis, your faith is dead. You must do. You must do. Do I even knife hand? There's a lot that's been happening while I was in the woods. It turns out the world is still a mess. Who'd have thought? 3 dead as women beheaded in attack in French church. Nice, France. A knife-wielding attacker shouted Allahu Akbar, beheaded a woman and killed 2 other people in a church in France on Thursday. A defiant President Emmanuel Macron, declaring that France had been subject to an Islamist terrorist attack, said he would deploy thousands more soldiers to protect important French sites such as places of worship and schools. Speaking from the scene, he said France has been attacked over our values, for our taste for freedom, and for the ability on our soil to have freedom of belief. The person who did this was a piece of garbage. A clergyman was stabbed, an old lady was beheaded, and another lady was cut real bad but was able to get away. And then, let's see. A man armed with a knife entered the church and slit the throat of the sexton, beheaded an elderly woman, and badly wounded a 3rd woman, according to a police source. How does this not sound demonic? And Dark Winter comments a really scary EMP. You know, we're going to touch on that in a few minutes, but I'm telling you, if you got an EMP plan, but you don't have a hurricane plan, you're just playing. You're just playing. I don't know if we're seeing, I mean, this is one data point, but I would hate to see a resurgence of Islamic terror. Also, the timing of this pre-election, I find it interesting. We'll just say that. The suspected knife attacker was shot by police while being detained. He is on his way to the hospital. He is alive. Police should have applied a little bit more lead to the situation. Well, I mean, other than to debrief this dude, but other than that, put him in the dumpster. A follow-up to this, the Orange Menace, being addressed by Paul Harrell. I'd like to shout out to Paul Harrell for fighting the good fight. Death to jack-o'-lanterns. I agree. Thank you for standing up and fighting as a one-man army, the Orange Menace. I greatly appreciate you, sir. Now, Zeta, this gigantic storm that's been rolling around the southeast United States. Let's see, right here. Zeta and this Oklahoma ice storm. So there's like, or was at one point, 2.5 million people out of power because of Zeta. Additionally, Oklahoma ice storm leaves 300,000 people without power. Is an EMP likely or unlikely? AFR, bless you, brother. I appreciate you deeply. Thank you. Thank you. It's awesome. It's awesome. I appreciate it. If you're more worried about an EMP than you are about either an ice storm or a hurricane, your priorities are wrong. Is an EMP possible? Yes. Also, everybody just got shot in the left arm. Go. Is an EMP possible? Yes. What about a coronal mass ejection? Yes. What about, there it is. What about, I don't know what else. time. 22 seconds. Hey, y'all just got shot in the left arm and bleeding to death. Done. Nice. Raise your hand. I made it. I made it, boss. I made it. Damn it, Bear. You got me there. I'm driving. Morton Phelps. Hey, we're going to talk about kit shipping here in a minute, brother. So most likely scenario is an ice storm, is a hurricane. Is an EMP possible? Yes, it's possible. Is it probable? Depends on who you talk to. Is it more probable than an ice storm or a hurricane? No. No, it's not. Is there something you can do about it? Yeah, there's lots you can do about it. It's okay, Cooper. I know you weren't trying to poke, but you led me, all right, release. You led me to say what I needed to say, what the Father needed me to say. So, oofta. So, you should have a plan for a grid down scenario. I don't know how many times I have said this at this channel, but it is the #1 disruptive threat. Can't pump fuel without electricity. Can't treat patients at the hospital without electricity. Can't dispense medications without electricity. The sewage doesn't run, the water doesn't run, the refrigeration doesn't run without electricity. The commo doesn't work, the lights don't work without electricity. Your heat or your cooling probably won't work without electricity. Fair size helmet shipped and on its way. Bless you, Billy. You are a freaking rock star. Hey, if you want an awesome ballistic helmet, go spend $5 at grindstoneministries.com on the fall fundraiser. The fall fundraiser. And there's a Brain Buckets by Billy in that raffle. Bless you, brother. You can also check them out on Instagram. Brain Buckets by Billy. So the #1 disruptive threat is grid down for the United States. So did you hear we threatened to attack Iran via Venezuela? EMP just got moved up the probability scale. Okay, Pam, perhaps. Did you hear Oklahoma ice storm leaves 300,000 without power right now? Did you hear tropical storm or whatever, Hurricane Zeta, 2.5 million without power? 100% probability that another ice storm hits Oklahoma at some time. The last one, bad one, was in 2007. So 13 years. Have we been EMP'd in the last 13 years? 100% probability that another hurricane hits the Gulf Coast. We're on our 27th named storm this season. And so we might move the EMP up the scale of probability a little bit, but 100% chance that something like this happens. And so my point here is, you might get EMP'd, but there's a 100% chance that Mother Nature kicks your ass at some point. And so if you are not prepared for Mother Nature to kick your ass at some point, but you are prepared, or you're preparing for when the Koreans EMP us, your priorities are all wrong. Okay? So, that's my point. Moving right along. According to several Bear Nation sources, New York is preparing for another shutdown, and New York City reportedly is understaffed by several thousand officers. Who'd have thought when you turn the cops into your enemy, they don't come to work anymore? This problem is not unique to New York. Cities like Chicago are not currently able to fill positions as quickly as they are vacated. If the election results in an explosion of civil unrest, as many people believe it will, this will be a very bad combination. I agree completely. Footage has already come out revealing violence related to the election on the streets of New York, though it did not make it to mainstream news. In Philadelphia, after police shot and killed a man approaching them, wielding and refusing to drop a knife, a mob took to the streets. They threw rocks and bricks at police and vandalized and looted businesses. 30 officers were hurt, and a 56-year-old sergeant had her leg broken when she was struck by a pickup truck. Antifa rioters in Portland met up to support the riots in Philadelphia. A protest in Seattle blocked the roads, delaying an ambulance. The news has largely quieted, but there is still unrest. And Philadelphia has issued a curfew after multiple nights of rioting following the death of a man refusing to drop the knife. The man had bipolar disorder. His young son said at a news conference, "White racist cops got my own dad." End quote. Be careful what you tell your children about these events. Take care not to stoke division and racist ideologies. The worldview of today's children will ultimately influence the world tomorrow. The world, I don't understand this rioting. It doesn't make sense. I mean, I get it. It's fomented violence. From Fox News, nearly a dozen people, including a 15-year-old, were shot overnight after looting and rioting in Philadelphia. Despite pleas for peace from the family of a black man whose police-related deaths sparked the unrest. About 1,000 people took to the streets, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. The father said, "I don't condone no violence, tearing up the city, looting of the stores," he told reporters. "I would feel like everybody having respect for my family and my son to stop this violence and chaos that's going on in this city with people that have businesses." He asked people to stop the violence to help my son and my family. People are just looking for an opportunity to delve into chaos. You just got shot in your right arm. Go. All right. So while we're not dying over here, there we go. Let's talk to you about Bear Facts. What are Bear Facts? Bear Facts are individual first aid kits that were designed by me in conjunction with Army Special Forces. There it is. Perfect. Nailed it. By the way, I get a lot of people who say, "Hey, what about the Recon tourniquets? Are they as good as the Gen 7 cat tourniquets?" This is a Recon tourniquet. No, they're not as good. Are they passable? Yes. Are they half the price of a Gen 7 cat tourniquet? Yes. I can't drive without no arms. Sure you can, man. Quit slacking. Just throw your foot up on the steering wheel. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Tell the officer Bear said. Jeff Smith, good job. On Dudley, good job. Are the Recon, Gen 4 Recons as good as the Gen 7 cats? No. Are they passable? Yes. Do I have Gen 4 Recons in some of my systems? Yes, from back in the day. Pulled over, done, 37 seconds. Awesome. Well, I died, somebody said. Right, I'm done. I'm a lefty. Yeah, good job. So we use Gen 7 cat tourniquets in all of our kits, including the Bear Fact. Bear Fact, made in America, guaranteed forever, handmade. If you break it, I'll send you another one. If you use the contents to treat an injury or save a life, I'll send you replacement contents for free. I just need you to email me and tell me about it. Phelps has a keyboard now, roger that. All the internal components are North American Rescue. We're going to be completely caught up, I'm told, on back orders by the end of this coming week. Most of what's outstanding right now is Red and Marpat, and we have a shipment coming from Sojourn Gear of Red and Marpat that we should have this coming week. And we have all of our back orders handled. And right now, if you were to order right now, like today, you ordered one, you should receive it within 2 to 3 weeks, which is phenomenal turnaround for us. Typically, we've started running 3 to 5 weeks. and then COVID happened. And it's been a mess, and we've been doing everything we can to get that number down and down and down. And so right now, as of today, if you order a kit today, my team tells me we are looking out. Bear, can you demonstrate how to stage your TQ? Yeah, I'll do that in a moment. My team tells me that we are fulfilled, like to your door, within 2 to 3 weeks. So for something that's handmade, made in America, yeah, we ship those to Canada all the time. Handmade, made in America, guaranteed forever, North American rescue components, feeds real people. Real people work with us and earn a living off of this. So you can use your HSA and your FSA to purchase any of the medical kits at our store at bearindependent.com. You can also purchase individual medical components with your HSA or FSA from bearindependent.com. And yeah, thank you for helping us grow. Thank you for bearing with us as we grow. Thank you for helping us do the things. Thank you for helping me keep our people fed and clothed and taken care of. And so I'm keenly aware that this is a relationship between us, and I appreciate you supporting us in it. And if, you know, I don't do pagan holidays, but if you do and you need something cool for a pagan holiday, if you order a kit right now, like today, right now, you should be able to get it within 2 to 3 weeks. So, and if you need special pricing, 10 or more, sales at bearindependent.com. If you need a class in your area, sales at bearindependent.com. Best IFAC on the market, bless y'all. Thank you. I mean, these are the real deal. 11 lives and 1 toe have been saved with these kits thus far, and they're the real deal. They're deployed by 4 different branches on 4 different continents currently. Bear, would a bear fact be suitable to keep with a chainsaw, or would a vehicle kit be better? I would definitely get a bear fact, a red one, and put it on my chainsaw chaps, or just keep it with your saw. It would, and here's why. Because with good morning, Okie Storm Chaser. Thank you for fixing your bayonets. Here's why. A chainsaw removes material. Most cuts are like this, right? That's the dimension of the cut. That's what it looks like, cross-sectionality. Chainsaw cut is like this, okay? I've had 4. No bueno, okay? So there's this giant gap. You gotta have something to stick in there. And so that's where you're getting into wound packing. So a little bit of quick clot and a pressure bandage goes a long way with the chainsaw. And if it's a grievous chainsaw injury, having a tourniquet is good to go. So yeah, every kit that goes out, man. So yes, for a chainsaw, absolutely. Comments go by so fast. How to stage a tourniquet. This one's old, okay? So typically we would take our time tab here. This is the time tab. And we're gonna put this on one side, like so, okay? This bar here, that's called the windlass. And this is that Gen 4 Recon. It's got an aluminum windlass. We're gonna tuck that into one side. The tourniquet should be sized, ideally big enough so you can get it over a foot. So then we're going to take this, we're going to fold this back on itself. The red tab on the end, rather than having the red tab down like that, and see, Recon says, oh look, it's got this hole in it, so you can stick your finger in there and really pull. Cool story, bro. I don't need that. Take that, fold it over. The reason we fold that over is because the Committee on TCCC, Tactical Combat Casualty Care, has really two main guidelines for a tourniquet. The first is it has to be at least 1.5 inches wide, which this is. The next is, although I'll tell you, the ribbon, the internal band on the Recons is more narrow than the internal band, not by much, but it's more narrow, the constricting band, than on the Gen 7 cats. And these are good. They're just not as good as the Gen 7 cats. They're not quite as well made, but they work. So, Recon Medical, U.S. patent, U.S. AOS, Recon Medical, yada, yada, yada. So this has to be at least 1.5 inches wide, and you have to be able to deploy it with one hand, apply it with one hand. So with that, that's why we have this tab right here, so that I can grab this with one hand. Rather than trying to mess around and get it started, I can just grab this, throw this on, grab the tab, and pull towards my center line, okay? A little pro tip here, when you are applying a tourniquet, if you put your thumb on the C-clips here, on the retention, you'll always have the tail of the tourniquet pointed towards the center line of your body, okay? And that's what you want. You want to pull towards the center line of the body. And then that's it. So we want enough of this, like so, that when we fold this over, that this smooth is going up against this hook and loop, so that it's not loop to loop. We don't want loop to loop, because we need to be able to go like that and have it come open. So that's how you stage it. Time tab on the side, the windlass tucked over here, leave a tab on here, and fold up like so, so that you don't have Velcro to Velcro touching. You don't want that. You want smooth to Velcro touching so that it will deploy rapidly. Okay, tourniquets, bare facts. Tourniquets save lives, bare facts save lives, and one toe. BearIndependent.com. We appreciate y'all. Freaking report is going long, man. Let's see. What else has happened? Amy Coney Barrett has been confirmed. Very cool. Biden's going to pack the courts, even though he won't admit it. We're all aware of this. ATF apparently has been reported that they're getting ready for a Biden win. Allegedly, they have paperwork drafted ready to reclassify various firearms should he win. There's an article here from thetruthaboutguns.com called "Calm Down, the ATF has not ruled that your AR or AK pistol is an NFA-regulated item." And I guess we'll read a little bit of that, again, from thetruthaboutguns.com. If you spend time watching YouTube videos and trolling the gunosphere, you may have run across some videos and other posts announcing that the ATF now considers any braced AR or AK pistol to be any other weapon, and is therefore regulated under the National Firearms Act, with all of the paperwork and taxes that go right along with it. Here's what you need to know about these claims. They are not true. No such ruling or communication from the ATF has been issued. The current hysteria stems from two things: the ATF's recent cease and desist letter sent to Q regarding the Honey Badger pistol, and an email blast sent by a law firm regarding AR and AK pistol imports. There are two things to keep in mind here. First, the letter regarding the Honey Badger applies only to that one firearm. Yes, it's possible that the ATF could expand that ruling to other similar firearms, but they have made no such move to do so, and they won't. At least the 60-day suspension period on their letter expires in December. Second, the communication from the Wiley law firm is speculation directed to their clients about what could happen regarding imported braced pistols. And then it goes on with the full letter, and then blah, 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 ATF bullcrap. Could this be bad news? Yes, it could. The Honey Badger affair is not a good sign. The ATF issued their 60-day stay, but that was probably just a way to push the issue past the election to see which way the political winds are blowing in December. A Biden win will be bad news for all kinds of firearms, braced pistols included. Will this have an application for domestically produced firearms? Is the ATF getting ready for a post-election assault on braced pistols? No one knows. It's all speculation now, and Wiley, the law firm, is alerting its clients to the possibility of further regulatory changes. The possibility of further regulatory changes. Because that's what the ATF does. It waves its regulatory wand and issues edicts, frequently conflicting with earlier rulings on the same items, whipsawing the firearms industry and gun owners. But nothing has happened yet. Your AR or AK pistol is still legal no matter what you've been reading. Will they stay that way? No one knows for sure, and probably won't until long after this coming Tuesday. Okay? I thought that was a very good article. I know. It's tremendous. Believe it. Everybody tells me. Let's see. What else we got here in these reports? Shout out to the Dance Monkeys. Intel at bearindependent.com is where you go to send your intel at bearindependent.com, or just, send the Dance Monkeys an email and say, hey, you're awesome. You do a great job. Clappy, clap, 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 clap. Okay? Let's see. The FBI, the Department of Health and Human Services, and the Department of Homeland Security's Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, have issued a joint warning. CISA tweeted that cybercrime was an imminent and increased threat. Hospitals and healthcare providers have been told to increase security measures to combat cyber hackers utilizing ransomware. As recently seen in the UHS attacks, these attacks can shut down smooth operations and put sensitive data, including patient information, at risk. The UVM Health Network is currently investigating the possibility of a cyber attack being behind the current computer problem plaguing their 6 hospital system. Full story, bro. So, something that I forgot to mention is you don't necessarily have to just buy somebody a bear fact for Xmas or Hanukkah or Festivus or whatever the hell you're into. You could get them a tactical chicken sticker. My wife would love that. I would be very pissed that you didn't buy a bear sticker, but you could get them a tactical chicken sticker, or a Dance Monkey sticker, or a bear sticker, or a Steven sticker, or a Grindstone sticker, or a Rifle Bear sticker, or I don't remember what else we got. We got all that stuff over there, and I'm just telling you this because by the hand of the Father, there's 17 people that work with us. 17 people. And they really like eating food, and I really like paying them. And one of the ways that happens is when you go buy tactical bear stickers and chicken patches and whatever the hell else you guys get from there. So, appreciate y'all. Unrestricted warfare from theconversation.com. The Cold War 2.0 between China and the U.S. is already a virtual reality. As President Xi Jinping celebrated the 70th anniversary of the People's Republic of China with a massive military parade, the United States President threatened to raise taxes on Chinese products. Oh, shut up with the intro. The Russian cyberspace attack on Estonia in 2007 was a wake-up call to all developed states. Russian hackers, using a simple denial of service attack, were able to cripple the Baltic state for several days. The functioning of its government, ministries, banks, hospitals, telecommunications companies, and media were effectively paralyzed. Let's go back over here to our lines of efforts. Conduct information engagement. Okay. The functioning of its government, ministries, banks, hospitals, telecommunications companies, and media were effectively paralyzed. Undermine governance, undermine civic control, disrupt essential services, undermine economic and infrastructure development, conduct misinformation and information engagement. Cyber attack. Mad Celt, shalom, brother. New cyber war doctrines. The Obama administration's cyber strategy was primarily defensive. Under Donald Trump, the strategy has become more proactive. The shift in tone between the military and cyber strategies under the Obama and Trump administrations mirrors the rise in tensions between the U.S. and China. This cyber warfare, or Cold War 2.0, is based on the development of technical and human resources, intelligence gathering, sabotage, and influence operations like Biden and Hunter Biden and China. The resources deployed for cyber warfare have been increasing on both sides. The home of the giant digital companies, and with the world's biggest military budget, the U.S. undeniably has great cyber firepower. In 2009, the federal government created a new military command center, the U.S. Cyber Command, operational since 2010, which now employs more than 6,000 experts. On its side, China can count on the 3rd Department of the People's Army, the specialized internal cyber security forces, and several technological companies. In 2015, Beijing created a counterpart to the U.S. Cyber Command Center, Strategic Support Force, which brings together the resources of the People's Army in the field of cyberspace and electronic warfare. It goes on to talk about theft of planes. More than 80% of economic espionage cases against the United States have been linked to China. For example, hackers linked to the Chinese Ministry of State Security hacked the Marriott Group over a period of 4 years, in the process stealing the personal data of some 500 million of their customers. Do you even unrestricted warfare, bro? Good times. The best times. Believe it. AdventureFrontier.com is where you go if China is trying to hack you. You go there, you put on your body armor. Not that it will stop China from hacking you, but you will look so cool while they are hacking you. If you get one of them plate carrier things on and like put all the dangle pouches on it, and then you just get your CMMG Banshee and stand in the front door and scream, "Not today, China!" There's no way that they're going to be able to attack you. So, AdventureFrontier.com, armor, IFAKs, including the best IFAK in the world, the Bearfac. I'm not making this up. It exceeds military specifications, y'all. And fluffy bunnies. That's correct. Fluffy bunnies. You can use promo code BearNation at AdventureFrontier.com for $10 off your armor. You can also use promo code BearNation at the Bear Store at BearIndependent.com for 10% off your order. So AdventureFrontier.com, armor, IFAKs, fluffy bunnies, and they're the best people, man. They're the freaking best. They have great customer service. They're doing their best to deal with long lead times from their suppliers, just like everybody else, because hashtag COVID, but you know, they're getting the job done. So if you got some money burning a hole in your pocket, why don't you spend it with a small business that actually appreciates it? Cool. In more positive news, the fight against child trafficking is still going strong. Most recently, a multi-agency operation called Operation Autumn Hope physically recovered 45 out of 72 children. The rest found their own way home. This same operation led to the arrest of 179 people involved, which is a particularly potent accomplishment that will help to prevent myriad future abuses. According to Acting Secretary Chad Wolf, the Trump administration has done probably more about human trafficking than any other administration. I would agree with that, because in part it's my job to know these things. Where'd you go? There it is. Straight from usmarshals.gov. Dateline, Columbus, Ohio. During the month of October, the U.S. Marshals Service offices in southern Ohio and southern West Virginia, in conjunction with the Ohio Attorney General's Office and Central Ohio Human Trafficking Task Force, participated in Operation Autumn Hope. Operation AH was a multiple agency enforcement operation focused on human trafficking and the location and recovery of missing and exploited children. During the operation, 45 missing children were recovered by the U.S. Marshals and 179 arrests were made by the Central Ohio Human Trafficking Task Force. In addition, 20 children were located per the request of law enforcement to ensure the child's well-being. The operation was supported by National Center for Missing and Exploited Children and Ohio state and local agencies. During one of the missing child recoveries, a loaded gun was recovered. The 15-year-old male juvenile had 2 warrants and is suspected in multiple shootings and a homicide. Another case involved a high-risk 15-year-old girl who was missing from Cleveland. Information developed from that recovery linked her and other possible victims to an individual in Columbus suspected of human trafficking. An additional recovery of 2 juveniles occurred when the U.S. Marshals Service Southern Ohio Task Force forwarded information to marshals in West Virginia. A recovery of the missing juveniles occurred on a traffic stop after the West Virginia State Patrol was informed to be on the lookout for the adult male and vehicle he was driving. The adult male was charged with concealment, removal of a minor child in Jackson County, West Virginia. This is a lot of really good interagency cooperation, by the way. Like, this doesn't sound like much, but this is a lot of really good interagency cooperation. They had good intel. They rolled up 179 people, man, in 30 days. This is a 30-day mission during the month of October, okay? Man, they did a good job. They're doing a really, really good job. During the operation, the Lancaster Police Department requested assistance in locating a 14-year-old girl. And this is the other thing. Now you got local PD reaching out to this task force. It's working with marshals, which means they have national jurisdiction. It's great. This is really great. Requested assistance in locating a 14-year-old girl who was reported missing in the middle of the night. The girl was recovered in Columbus by the U.S. Marshals within 6 hours of being reported missing. The girl was recovered in Columbus by the U.S. Marshals within 6 hours of being reported missing. Phenomenal. Over the past 5 years, the U.S. Marshals Service has recovered missing children in 75% of the cases it has received. And of those recovered, 72% were recovered within 7 days. Since 2005, the U.S. Marshals Service has recovered more than 2,000 missing children. The Justice for Victims of Trafficking Act of 2015 enhanced the U.S. Marshals' authority to assist federal, state, and local enforcement with the recovery of missing, endangered, or abducted children, regardless of whether a fugitive or sex offender was involved. The Marshals established a missing child unit to oversee and manage the implementation of its enhanced authority under the Act. The U.S. Marshals Southern Ohio Fugitive Apprehension Strike Team, so fast, is comprised of 70 federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies. 70 agencies from the lower 48 counties in the state of Ohio. That's awesome. Quote, "My thanks to all the personnel who have stepped up for this operation," end quote, said Peter C. Tobin, U.S. Marshal for the Southern District of Ohio. "These are the same personnel who hunt down violent fugitives every day. I'm incredibly proud of them and pleased that they were able to apply those same skills to finding missing children. I know Operation Autumn Hope has made a difference in a lot of young lives." That's badass. Good job, everybody. Good job. Let's do some silver linings. One viewer said, "After several conversations about what I do for preparedness, and after seeing how empty stores get because of the Gina flu, my 71-year-old mother, who hasn't been into preparedness before, told me on the phone last night that she has accumulated over 3 months of food and between 4 and 6 months of household supplies such as soaps, detergents, and personal care items. She also has over 6 months worth of water filtration. The amazing part is that she did this on her own very limited fixed Social Security income." That's awesome. Shalom, Puzzleman. Another viewer said, "Yesterday, Yah blessed me and my wife once again. My wife surprised me with a handful of positive pregnancy tests. This will be our first child. I'm so excited and glad Yah has blessed me with one of the greatest opportunities a man can have." Another viewer said, my wife and I are blessed to still have jobs, and we put $10,000 in savings since March of this year. Prior to COVID, we had about $1,000 in savings and 2 weeks of food at best. And now we have a stocked pantry that can last 2 months, and we're stacking more food. We went to the range today, and my wife shot a gun for the first time, and she's a natural. She thought some of my ideas were far-fetched before COVID, but realized they had merit when the world ran out of toilet paper. That's super cool. Another viewer says, thank you for all the work you do. I've been inspired to get my nose back into the scriptures. I found that reading the scriptures makes my problems look small, and God's will comes out to the front of the picture. I was also motivated to become independent of the meatpacking industry. With meat lockers at full capacity in my area and nowhere to take my beef, I decided to buy a refrigerated semi-trailer and make my own farm butcher shop. Learning things by doing the things. Very cool. You guys know that Grindstone is committed to ending human trafficking. One kid at a time. One kid at a time. I have had a lot of meetings and a lot of phone calls in the very recent past about this. I'm going full bore at this in 2021. I am ordering my life right now in such a way that this last quarter of 2020, I'm getting things off of my plate. Because I was told by the Most High, you will make room on your plate or I will make room for you. And you won't like it if I have to do it. Yes, sir. Copy that. We're still going to do this. But my focus in 2021 is to attack. Attack, attack, attack. Attack. I've just had enough of people that just talk and don't do shit. It's why we are building a war chest right now with this Grindstone fundraiser. These things are not easy to fund. They're not easy to orchestrate. They're not easy to find grant money for. They're not easy to, it's not easy. The world doesn't care. It might pretend that it does for a moment because this is the new hot button topic. But it don't care. It doesn't have time for this. It's too difficult to think about. Doesn't care. Bless you, Jeff Smith. But y'all care. And I care. And I'm thankful for y'all partnering with us. To test our fruit, grindstoneministries.com. I will talk to anybody on the face of this planet about how we can solve this problem. I have phone calls. I owe phone calls and emails to people ongoing about how we deal with this. I talked to an insider recently who said there is a massive lack of leadership in the fight against human trafficking. There's a lot of good intentioned people, but not enough people who are doing the things. I aim to fix that. We aim to fix that. Because Grindstone is way bigger than I am. But we need your help. I really need your help. So, prayerfully consider supporting us because we can't do it without you. Let's pray. Good morning, Father Yah. Father, thank you for the crushing weight of your conviction. Father, I pray that you just bless Grindstone, that you would bless everybody involved, everybody who is deployed, everybody that will deploy, everybody who has donated, everybody who has prayed over this, Father. Pray that you just backstop them. You would cover them, protect them, and bless them. Father, I don't know what comes next, but you do. So I pray that you would just continue to walk with me and walk with us. And I thank you for striving with broken people, for allowing us to wrestle with you. That in the wrestling we might come to know you better. Father Yah, if there is anything within the sound of my voice that is not of you, I rebuke it in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, and I command it to flee. Father, I pray that you would fill us up with your Ruach HaKodesh for wisdom and discernment, for strength, power, and authority, for peace, for healing, Father, that we might do many mighty works in your name, that the world would see us, and they would see you shining out of us. Father, I pray that you would equip us for the journey ahead, that you would walk with us, that you would lead us, that we would follow in your footsteps, Father. I ask you to just continue to strive with us. And I thank you for making a way for people like me to come home again to Yeshua Messiah. Father, there is a lot of hurt and uncertainty and fear right now, and I pray that you would minister to that. I pray inside of us your will would be done, let alone on a national or international scale. I pray inside of us your will would be done. Thank you for allowing us to be here now, fearfully and wonderfully made for your purposes. And I ask all these things in the mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Amen. Bless y'all, Bear Nation. Shalom.